Today on Inquirer, Philippine Coast Guard says Chinese Coast Guard ships blocked and shadowed two of their ships while on their way to Ayungin Shoal.
Ang ginawa nila is they came close sa ating dalawang Philippine Coast Guard vessels with an approximate distance of 100 yards.
As MTRCB deliberates on whether to show the film Barbie, Senator Robin Padilla says screening in the Philippines possible if 9-line scene is deleted. Office of the President receives controversial Maharlika Bill. And Philippine Statistics Authority says inflation further eased to 5.4% in June. Good evening. Chinese Coast Guard ships maneuvered dangerously close to two Philippine Coast Guard ships supporting a Philippine Navy resupply mission in Ayungin Shoal in the West Philippine Sea last week. PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela, says the CCG vessels conducted dangerous maneuvers to block the PCG's BRP Malapascua and BRP Malabrigo from coming closer to the shoal.
Ang ginawa nila is they came close sa ating dalawang Philippine Coast Guard vessels with an approximate distance of 100 yards. While at the same time, ang ginawa ng ating dalawang Coast Guard vessel para ma-prevent itong possible na banggaan, they have to decrease the speed, while at the same time they were also have to respond sa mga radio challenges na ibinibigay sa kanila ng dalawang China Coast Guard vessel. At ang Philippine Coast Guard vessel natin, they were also challenging the presence of all these two China Coast Guard vessels.
Tariela adds that 6 Chinese militia vessels were also spotted at the northeast entrance of the shoal.
Makarating na tayo sa distance ng 9 nautical miles. Ang napansin naman namin sa Philippine Coast Guard ay nakita namin itong 6 na Chinese maritime militia na nagkukumpulan din umano para kami ay i-block sa pagpasok sa Ayungin Shoal. We also monitored 2 PLA Navy vessels, 629 and 620, na may distance na 9 nautical miles sa layo ng Ayungin Shoal.
Moments later, another Chinese Coast Guard vessel which traveled from Scarborough Shoal showed up in the area and challenged the PCG ships on the radio in an apparent attempt to act as a reinforcement. Tariela told the Inquirer that the PCG is concerned about the behavior of the Chinese Coast Guard vessels. He adds that it seems that extra effort is being put in to stop them from reaching the Ayungin Shoal. Senator Robin Padilla says that the film Barbie could be shown in Philippine cinemas if the part about Beijing's 9-line claim in the South China Sea is removed. Padilla says that if the producers agree and they can edit the scene, there is no problem for him and the film can be shown. But Padilla says if the producers refuse, authorities have no choice but to disallow the film from showing in the Philippines. Padilla adds that all this will depend on the content and to what extent its producers will allow the cutting out of the part that does not favor the arbitral ruling. On Tuesday, the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board said that it is currently reviewing whether to release Barbie in the country's cinemas. MTRCB issued a statement after Vietnam banned the film from domestic distribution over a clip featuring a 9-line on a Chinese map representing its claims over areas of the South China Sea. Maharlika Bill is now with the Office of the President. In a message to reporters, Presidential Communications Office Secretary Cheloy Garafil says the Maharlika Bill was received on Tuesday, July 4, by the Office of the Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs. The measure now only needs the approval and signature of President Bongbong Marcos for it to become a law. When asked when the President is expected to sign the Maharlika Bill, Garafil says there is no date yet. Marcos had certified the bill as urgent, enabling it to breeze through the legislative process in Congress. The Quezon City Police District reveals faces of 2 out of the 5 persons of interest in the shooting of a photojournalist, Rene Joshua Abiad. QCPD Director Brigadier General Nicolas Torre III says the suspects' faces were captured in a CCTV footage. Torre adds that the police force has decided to unveil the faces of the first two suspects and seek the public's help in tracking them down. The names of the suspects, however, were not revealed so as not to compromise its ongoing investigation. Torres says the faces of the remaining three suspects will also be unveiled to the public once QCPD finished enhancing their faces from other CCTV footage it gathered. On June 29, Abiad and 6 family members were in their vehicle in Barangay Masambong when 2 gunmen in another vehicle blocked their path and opened fire. The Bureau of Treasury says the national government's outstanding debt is at 14.10 trillion pesos as of May 2023. According to the Treasury, the level of debt grew by 185.40 billion pesos or 1.3% from April 2023. Out of the total debt, 32% is external and 68% is domestic. According to the BTR, the domestic debt is 9.59 billion pesos, which is 130.67 billion pesos or 1.4% higher than April. Meanwhile, external debt amounted to 4.51 trillion pesos in the same month, which was 54.73 billion or 1.2% higher than the month prior. The Bureau says the Philippine peso's depreciation against the US dollar is a factor in the increase in the total money owed by the government. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Ervin Santiago ng Bandera. Ervin?
Hi Neil at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Todo pasalamat ang Kapuso TV host actor na si Paulo Contis, pati na rin ang mga co-host niya sa 8 Bulaga ng GMA7 dahil sa all-out support sa kanila ng Tape Incorporated. Ginagawa raw nila ang lahat para mapaligaya ang mga manonood at patuloy silang magsusumikap upang mabigyan ng maganda at makabuluhang programa ang sumusuporta sa 8 Bulaga. Ayon kay Paulo, hindi na sila nakikialam sa isyu ng pamilya Haloshos, ng Tape at ng iconic trio na sina Tito Vic and Joey dahil labas na naman daw sila rito. Naniniwala raw siya na darating ang tamang panahon na magkakaayos-ayos din ang lahat. Ang mahalaga raw ngayon ay magampanan nila ang kanilang trabaho sa longest running noontime show sa bansa at maipagpatuloy ang pagbibigay saya at inspirasyon sa mga tao. Sabi pa ni Pao, kapag talagang buong-buo ang support group ay mas nagiging madali ang trabaho at mababawasan kahit paano ang nararamdaman nilang pressure. Samantala, siguradong mas magiging solid pa ang samahan ni Paulo, Betong Sumaya at Buboy Villar sa Itbulaga ngayong magkakasama na rin sila sa Kapuso Gag Show na Bubble Gang. At yan ang Bandera Chika natin today. Thanks, Neil!
Maraming salamat, Ervin, and these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.